Every year, our country loses 400 physicians to suicide, and that's an entire medical school, according to Medscape.
Now, Lane County is not immune. In recent years, a number of top-rated physicians have committed suicide. KEZI 9 News anchor Jennifer Richardson takes an in-depth look at what some are calling a public health crisis in her special report, Diagnosing the Doctors.
Most people would agree suicide is a hard topic to talk about. As we work to put this report together, we were met with those who want the conversation started, while others would rather not see it brought up. But what we continue to hear is the conversation needs to take place. Here is a look at those who have suffered and what our community is doing to keep from ignoring the cries for help. June Brooks has called Lane County home for decades. She's made many good memories here with her family, but she invited us into her living room to share about a much more personal and painful time in her life. In order to understand the sadness, we take you back to a time when June and her husband David Brooks were young and in love, high school sweethearts who married while both were in college. Dave went on to study medicine.
He loved being a medical student. He was very, very smart.
But it wasn't long before the stresses of the job and family caught up with him. At 30, he had his first bout with depression.
He threatened to commit suicide at that point.
But June says he got help, started medication, and for 2 more decades went on to become a very successful doctor in Lane County. He was one of the founding doctors of Oregon Medical Group. June says he was handsome, fit, smart, but she says he was suffering most of the time in silence.
I think an issue that doctors have is they don't know how to be patients. And so they don't get good medical care. They don't ask for it.
And then 13 years ago, at age 53, very close to Christmas, David Brooks laid down on the Eugene Railroad tracks and killed himself.
Pretty dreadful.
She'll never truly understand why, but over the years, she's tried to make sense of it, and more importantly, talk about it.
Oh, absolutely. It needs to be talked about.
Also talking about it, Eugene doctor Pamela Weibel. When not treating patients here at her office in Eugene, she dedicates her time to medical student and physician suicide prevention. She just received the 2015 Women Leader in Medicine Award for her work on physician suicide, and recently led this TED Talks in Salem, touching on the topic.
On a perfectly beautiful fall day in the middle of our city park, one of our most loved pediatricians shoots himself in the head.
She went on to tell the audience, starting in 2011, and for the next year and a half, she would learn that 3 Lane County physicians took their lives. Then in 2014, Weibel says there was another.
I think being a physician, we are trained to try to find the truth and find the root cause of illnesses, and I certainly can't sit back and let my brothers and sisters die in this profession.
Weibel says physicians are among one of the highest rated professions for suicide according to the new health guide. She believes part of the problem, if you are suffering, you're taught to suck it up. A cry for help is weakness.
A big hurdle is that we do not want to go to a psychiatrist or seek mental health treatment because it can become part of our record.
Yeah, I think he was maybe afraid on 2 levels, afraid that, it could affect his practice or his license. He was also becoming afraid that he might indeed do harm to somebody.
But Oregon has been put under the microscope because it's making great strides on the issue.
Oregon is on the forefront again on destigmatizing mental illness among physicians on their board applications.
She says the state's licensing questionnaire changed its wording. Physicians don't have to report the mental health care they have been seeking unless they consider it an impairment to their practice of medicine.
We're trying to change the conversation so that people make the connection between physical health and mental health to reduce stigma around mental illness and also help seeking.
Sandy Moses, mental health promotion coordinator for Lane County, says as a part of Mental Health Awareness Month, Lane County is launching the Mind Your Mind project. It's funded by a large state grant. The county is trying to get the community, including our physicians, to make mental health a priority.
If we're going to make a difference, if we're going to move the dial at all on suicide, what we really need to do is focus on our mental wellness early on and do it on a daily basis, just like we brush our teeth.
By signing up for Mind Your Mind, you get resources of all types at your fingertips, confidential if needed, even a calendar with mental wellness tips. There's also another program in Lane County attracting nationwide attention, even being modeled in other states. A couple of years ago, the Lane County Medical Society started its own physician wellness program with confidential coaching and counseling. It creates a safe harbor for physicians to get help without electronic records being created. It helps physicians learn techniques to build resilience and enhance coping mechanisms.
And many times when you're in the helping capacity, you forget about an important person that you need to also help, and that's yourself.
We didn't talk about Ebola, where would we be? If we didn't address diabetes, we can't have shame around a health issue that needs to be discussed.
And for June, there will always be a hole David left for her. She has since, though, remarried and celebrated many joyous occasions, weddings, even the birth of her grandchild. She just hopes that the healers can get help just like the rest of us, and that the country starts peeling away the stigma, giving mental health the focus it deserves. The Mind Your Mind project is asking people to sign a community wellness pledge, asking people to recognize a healthy community involves mental, emotional, and physical health. And for all the programs we talked about in this story, you will find links on our website, KEZI.com. In the studio, Jennifer Richardson, KEZI 9 News.